Good morning, good afternoon to everyone, and welcome to our session today. We have prepared a crowd resilience session for this webinar, so you will learn how to use the powerful of our tools to improve resilience and, of course, availability of your systems. I am Violeta. Together with me, there is Heinz, who will be your presenter. For today, we have all a demo, so no presentation available. So stay tuned and you will see a lot of action in this call. We have saved 60 minutes for this session, but we might overrun a bit, like 10 to 5 minutes, because there are plenty of things we would like to showcase to you. Right. Speaking about who we are, so as I mentioned, I am Violeta. I'm a digital adoption manager for live events in EMEA. I'm based in Bucharest, and today I'm joined by my colleague Heinz, who is a cloud storage specialist, and he will tell you more about himself in a few seconds. One more thing on my side regarding this session. So everything you will see today will be demo, as I mentioned, and of course it was built for educational reasons. So if you are planning to using our services further, you may connect with somebody from the Oracle account team. Also, we are going to share a GitHub link that Heinz has built for this service. You can use it after the session. You can also use it during the session, so you have the possibility to take the journey together with us today. That was all on my side. I would like to pass over to Heinz now, and of course, enjoy the session.
So hi there, I'm Heinz Mielimonka, and I'm happy to provide you this 1-hour live webinar. We are talking about effortless cloud resilience and automate your disaster recovery with OCI. I'm a member of Oracle's EMEA Cloud Specialist team, and OCI provides you all the needed capabilities to automate this cloud resilience effortless. We will showcase that to you today, that each server you treat like we introduced, including boot and data volumes, is then resilient against outages of a region, for example. And the RTO and the RPO is really slow. In my measurements, I come to 3 minutes RPO and 5 minutes RTO. You can do this on your own testing also. As Violeta said, feel free to ask me any question at any point in time, and we hope we can make it. If not, then we go after the question afterwards. So let's jump direct into it. On the right side, you see my GitLab repository, Next Generation Cloud. There is a QR code. Feel free to copy it and to go direct into, or type the URL GitLab Mielimonka Next Generation Clouds into your browser. It's a public repo, and I would say this is, let's say, the marketing intro, if you wish. So it's more a generic explanation what is all about the Oracle Cloud. And if you scroll a little bit down, you get this line here with the cloud resilience in a more generic way and the cloud resilience by default, which is our topic today. If we go to that, then we see something like this. And here you find all the details I will talk about today, including screenshots and everything, code snippets, and so on and so forth. So be sure that everything I will demonstrate today is documented in that repository. Then let's start with what we are trying to achieve. In this architecture picture, you see 2 regions. Region A is, in my example, Frankfurt, and region B is London. Let's assume that the region A, Frankfurt, is our production region where our environment is up and running, and the environment is illustrated by the so-called server Frankfurt. And this server consists out of a boot volume and a block volume. Boot and block volume allows you to separate operating system data from application-specific data, and both are in a separate, as I said, volume. And these bucket round, so-called volume group, provide you the possibility that these both disks or volumes, whatever you like to name it, are consistent. What we do today is we asynchron synchronize these both volumes to the, let's say, backup region London, and then we have that replica of both. So this replica is, let's say, a mirror of Frankfurt, and it's up-to-date data every point in time. Whenever you decide to do so, after a disaster or whatever, you can clone this mirror here to another volume in London and start your server. And you end up with a perfect copy of your production environment in your backup region. So that's all what we will achieve today. Let's jump into it. So assuming you start from scratch, you have nothing, then there are some prerequisites we ask you to implement before you can run the script. You need, as I listed here, a user, a compartment, region access for at least 2 regions. In my example, it's Frankfurt and London, a VCN on both, so in Frankfurt and in London, a set of keys, and let's say an operation server, and I choose Oracle Enterprise Linux 8 with the command line interface. As I said, everything completely documented. The real interesting things are these 3 scripts I provide to you. I will explain them in a minute in more detail. And let's kick it off. So let's start with the user interface of the cloud and show you that there is no server Frankfurt. I have 2 servers here running. It's Operate and Operate 2. Today we will work with Operate. That's the server I will use. And I bring it up for you. Here is Operate. So, let's see. And then we can start the script, which will kick the process off. Now you see a lot of messages on the screen, and we don't look into that screen. Meanwhile, I will explain what is going on here. So first of all, I told you that there is a parameter file. So I prepared everything for you and divide this parameter file where the script collect all the necessary information into 2 dimensions. First is the customer specific values here. You have to update these values accordingly. So you need your tenancy OSID, your user OSID, your compartment OSID, and so on. And this is really key to do so proper, because if not, the things wouldn't work. Then we have a section with values, and these values normally you don't have to touch. I update them accordingly, so you don't need. But if you will, if you wish, you can. So no problem to update things here. Also, let me give you one or two examples. First of all, there is a log file, and for sure you can change the directory or the name. That's easy. Second, you might change the debug level. And third, you might change the instance shape you use. Here an example from 16 gig memory to 256 gig memories, and from 1 OCPU to 16 OCPUs, just if you wish. That's examples, and you can look into that in more detail. Meanwhile, you see here a lot of things, and let me show you what the script is doing. So here is the script, and the script is, as you can see here, divided into different steps, and the steps are also documented on the GitHub repository. So first, the script shows the environment in the cloud. Then the environment, if there is some resources, is cleaned up. Then it creates this server Frankfurt. So this new environment, what we are needing to showcase that disaster resilience. And you see here, at the moment, we are at that point in time, create instance. The script is at the moment running and try to create an instance. And for sure, we are able to have a look direct into the user interface of the cloud. And you will see there that now the server Frankfurt is in the provisioning state. So the script automatically instantiates this server in Frankfurt with both boot and block volume, as described. Within that script, let's show it here, I only call several functions. So there's no complexity in the script itself. The complexity is completely covered in that function script. And besides defining some colors and setting environments, you see two different levels or areas of functions here. The first level is level 0, which functions are, let's say, what's the baseline you have to have, not depending on other functions. The second level here are the functions I create to enable you to do all the things what the script is running on. Show the environment, delete the instance, and so on. You can read them through. So this is really easy, and you can dig into every function and have a deeper look into the function if you wish. So the script is ongoing, and I hope the script is finalizing soon. Yeah, creating the volume group at the moment. So it should take 7 minutes here to create all the environment we need. So give it another minute. So while waiting on the script, I have a look to the chat. Is there anything? No questions so far. Okay.
Heinz, what's the most common question you get asked from customers? What was an issue that pops up that you'd like to cover?
Yeah, not at the moment. Often I'm asked how to automate things, because it's one way doing this on the user interface, as I already showed Here you can create instances, you can configure them. That's possible, but to be consistent and sure that there is no mistake, the so-called infrastructure as code is a common pattern to do so, which at the end of the day automates the process. And that's what I do today. In my repository, I provide customers both. So I provide the customer how to do this with the user interface, including screenshots. And what we do today is provide the customer also the scripting details that they are able to do that on their own. So let's have a look. Meanwhile, the script is done and ask us to do something within the server Frankfurt. Let me do this just immediately, and afterwards I explain what I did. So first, we need the IP address of the server in Frankfurt, which is listed here. As this is a new server, I have to update my given server Frankfurt IP address I already prepared. Save it, open it. So and now we are in the newly created server Frankfurt. Here we have to format and mount the block volume, what I did with these commands. Then we have to update the fs tab. Then we create a script which do more or less logging some information to a log file. And last but not least, we update the cron tab to run the script every minute. So that's what we have to do on server Frankfurt. And now we can go back to the operating server and say, oh, shit. I stopped the script here. That's okay. So we are in the real world. For whatever reason, I stopped the script here. Normally it's progressing, but it's easy to do this manually. Then you see it live, what you can do here. So assuming you update a script, then you can upload it to the server and start with loading the function. And then here the example is delete environment. And what I will do now is just using the next step of the script. And the next step of the script is, so where we are, showcase configure in Frankfurt. And then here is activate volume groups. That's just running this. So that's the next piece of the script. And let's see. Okay. So back here, now the script is running and activate the volume group for the replica and create a new server in the target region, London. The important thing here is it will take a little while and give me the opportunity to explain you more within the script. So what we already saw is here. And let me give you a sneak peek of creating volume, what activating volume group. Here we are. Here you can see how I organize script for your convenience. I start with documentation, so you can really easy go into the documentation I used to run or to implement that script. You see all the details in the documentation, how to, in this example, create a block volume with all parameters you need and script examples. Another thing which is important, and it's a, let's say, a pattern you can reuse over and over again, as I did, is, for example, here I figure out if the boot volume is available. And I ask via script if it's not available, and as long as it's not available, I'll wait. So it's a loop, and I do this over and over again, waiting 5 seconds, change the counter, ask here in detail, and then check if boot volume is available or not. So that's an easy pattern you can use, and I use it over and over again in the script to get information out of the system. Go back to the operate script. So we are in the activate volume group scenario. Go back to the architecture slide to show you what's going on here. The activation is instantiating the replication between Frankfurt and London. And to be sure that everything is initially copied, I wait in the script for 10 minutes. So these 10 minutes are now ongoing because the initial copy process takes a while. We have 50 gig of operating system data and 50 gig of application data. So 100 gig has to be copied from Frankfurt to London and will be done now.
Heinz, can I ask you another question? It's just, I'm sure some people are probably going to be thinking about this, but this is real world. So to all of those who think it's not, you've saw a prime example of what can happen. So if somebody was running this, Heinz, and they had the same issue that you had where they stopped the process, should they do what you did? Now, I know we've a time limit today, and I know you're kind of stepping in here, but what should they do? Should they go back to the start and just restart the whole thing again, or do what you did? What's the recommendation?
Okay, let's go a little bit back. What this repository is all about. So this repository is all about to give you, the customer, and the prospect, the ability to understand and learn how to do things with OCI. It's nothing like it's a production system environment. It's just a teacher or an example stuff. So if you learn and understand the details based on this, you have the capabilities to decide to do it left or right. and nothing else is this repository. So I don't have the ambition to say this is production ready. I only have the ambition to give you, the customer, the possibility to focus on the important things and guide you through all the documentation details to end up with a proper example which illustrates, as I documented here, a generic example where whatever server is replicated to a different region. And if the replication is initiated, you can wait for the disaster. And if the disaster takes place, then that particular script, what I run at the moment, is doing the job. And afterwards, we will see, because we document the time, how much time is used by the disaster. So how much data is lost and how long did it take to initiate the London server. So to answer your question really short, it depends. So the customer has to learn, and afterwards he will decide on his own knowledge to do it left or right.
Okay, no, thanks. Yeah, so I guess with this script, you do need to spend a bit of time reading it beforehand, and it's not just something you just charge in, run, and fingers crossed it all works. You spend a bit of time prepping beforehand, understanding what you're doing. Okay, cool, thanks.
And therefore, I do it in the script over and over again, as I already showed you. In each function, you find which documentation I use to implement that function. So you can see everything in detail and understand what each command is used for and how do I correctly implement the command. Okay, while waiting, let's go a little bit.
I've got another question to ask. Actually.
Yes.
On the call, you used the shit word, which obviously we're not recommending here. So if anybody wants to give us a thumbs up, should we leave it in the YouTube recording or not? That's the $50 million question everybody's asking, Heinz, I'm sure. So if you want, you can give us a thumbs up or put it in the chat if you want us to leave that into YouTube. And obviously, I'm going to get in trouble with YouTube if we do, but that's the risk we take, I guess, with here. So it's just when you had your first error. Oh God. Okay. Yeah. Why did I know? I shouldn't have really asked. Okay. Thank you for those who've given the thumbs up. Sorry, Heinz. I just wanted to give some light entertainment there when you were running your script.
Okay. Okay. Meanwhile, we can see on the console here, if we change, for example, to London and go to the storage area. Let's go for the block volumes, for example. There is, or there should be, a block volume replica. Here they are. But there is no block volume yet. It will come. Boot volume, same, no boot volume, but boot volume replica, which means it's already implemented that there is an ongoing copying process from Frankfurt to London. These replicas illustrate that we have the data on the London region already. So that you can see already here. And I want to show you something in the Frankfurt script also. I did this here, that script, and that script, as I said, just update a log file. And meanwhile, you see here, we are in the server Frankfurt because we update the cron tab. The script is run every minute, and you see every minute with the timestamp an update made of the server Frankfurt in the script. And this is done in the block log file and in parallel in the boot log file also. As we learned, both are different volumes. The block volume and the boot volume, that's a disk, if you wish. In both files, log files, the script updates every minute. So we can see how long the server Frankfurt delivers current data to London and when it breaks. So we'll illustrate later on the disaster, and then you can figure out, based on this information, the timing. So here we are. Now we are activating, we have activated the volume group, and now we create the instance in London. So go to the, we are in London, compute instance. And now we see the server in London is already running. So, perfect. Operate. And now the block volume has to be attached to the server in London. So in a second, the script will be done, or in a minute, let's see. And then we have to do something. Oh, now the script is done. Have to do something with the server London also. So let me first copy the London IP address, and then SSH into the server in London, same as Frankfurt, update the IP, open the server. Okay, what's going on here? Interesting. Okay, server in London, 190. That's okay. Okay. For whatever reason, takes a while. So now we are in London, in the newly created server after the disaster. And this should be the same as Frankfurt was. And what you see here, oh, I have to apologize. Do these cut things. Oh. Okay, let's start with this. Looks like it works. Okay. So what we see here now is the log file transferred from Frankfurt to London, and it stops updated from the server in Frankfurt at 10:31 and starts updating in London at 10:40. And let's update my documentation here. So the important thing is to get the timing right. The last entry of Frankfurt was here, 1031. And now we need the log file. Hopefully we have the log file. Just a second. So we are here. Here is the log file. Okay, because we stopped the script, or I stopped the script, now the log file is not proper. Then let's stay with this example I did upfront with my thing. You can reproduce the thing on your end also. So the log file is updated from the server in Frankfurt until 10:12 in this example. And the disaster take place 10:15 in my example. So which means between 10:12 and 10:15, which is roughly 3 minutes, we have a loss of data. So RPO is 3 minutes in this example. And because the disaster take place 10:15 and the server in London take over to update the script, the log file 10:20, we have an RTO of 5 minutes. So with this log file updates I did regularly, you can figure out in your individual environment how long your RPO and RTO will be. For sure, you can monitor these numbers. If they are not as you expected, you can take action. But to give you an initial view, if this is feasible for your use case, I think that's a great example to use. So that's everything. Let's have a look back in the here. That's everything we did. And let me wrap up the session. So what you saw today is that OCI provides you all the necessary capabilities you need to automate the effortless cloud resilience in our system. Every application server, including boot and data volumes, can be made resilient against region outages. As I showed, if Frankfurt goes down, the server is up and running in a few minutes in London, automating the whole process. All the scripts I showed are in the public repository. You can easily reproduce the thing in your environment. So happy validating. And if you need any additional support, Violetta already showed you the contact points. So thank you from my side, and over to Violetta.
Okay, I see no further questions. Then I would like to say a big thank you to all for attending this call. Thank you, Heinz, for delivering this great session. And of course, we are waiting you in upcoming events. Thank you and have a great day. Bye-bye, and thanks for your reactions. Bye.